What if Mega Beedrill was in Gen 1 OU? Now, yesterday, I did what if Fortress was in Gen 1 OU, because it's like a steel type, and it's a bug type of pin missile, and I was disappointed. And some of you guys have comments saying that, like, I don't think an offensive bug type could ever work in Gen 1, which I can't say I 100% disagree with. I can't think of any, like, Pokemon on the top of my head, at least, like, bug types using, like, actual bug moves that can actually be good. Like, I can think of some Pokemon that I know would, like, be OU, like, especially with just, like, Gen 1 movesets. Like, Scizor, like, I'm sure would still be good either way. I'm sure when I eventually do Mega Pinsir, that's gonna end up being good. But nothing actually using bug moves. So that's why I kind of want to do Mega Beedrill. Because, like, 145 speed, 150 attack. If Mega Beedrill can't make bug type moves work in Gen 1, quite frankly, there's nothing else left. Like, at that point, you just gotta give up. But yeah, Mega Beedrill. Is it gonna be good? Or is that 40 defense and 15 special gonna hold it back? Well, only one way to find out. Now, I guess we should look at, like, regular Beedrill stats first, just to see, like, how much of a difference there is. And I did not expect to see the special higher. Okay, that's actually significantly higher. That definitely threw me off right now. But it doesn't matter. Because, like, it's still 45, which is literally right on special. But yeah, like, Beedrill, you're not going to really see it in, like, Gen 1. You're only really going to, like, see it in, like, 7U, maybe? And even then, like, I heard, like, regular Beedrill fell off. So, like, just try to convince someone that the imaginary tier known as 8U has Beedrill on it, and maybe they'll do good. But obviously, Mega Beedrill is a completely different story. Because, like, I don't know what to go over first. The massive attack stat or the speed stat? I think the speed stat's probably more important. Because with 145, you outspeed Jolteon. And, like, Electrode's not a thing, really, in Gen 1 OU. So, by all intents and purposes, you are, in fact, the fastest thing in the entire metagame. Which, as you imagine, is kind of a big deal. Especially when it comes to getting, you know, like, when it comes to crit rates. And, like, honestly, it's just really nice being able to just outspeed anything and everything. Tauros, Alakazam, like, even stuff like Starmie. And, like, again, Jolteon. Like, outspeeding Jolteon is just something that, like, you just can't do without it being paralyzed. And now we have something that not only can, like, outspeed it, not only does it have a higher crit rate, but with that 150 attack stat, it has a very real possibility of, like, killing it too. Now, is it always going to be able to kill, or do you need a crit? As you can probably see up here on the tabs, we have, like, 18 replays. So, yeah, there is a lot to go over with Mega Beedrill, which I'm not sure if you think that's going to end up being a good thing or a bad thing. Now, the weaknesses for Beedrill are, like, pretty obvious. It's just incredibly frail. Base, 65 HP. Not the best, especially not with these stats. Ugh. And then you have base 40, which, like, on the bright side, because of it being Gen 1, you will survive something. It's gonna be exactly one attack, and it can't be a crit. So, like, it's ironically bulkier here than it would be in, like, Gen 6 or Gen 7. But still not very desirable. And that's 15, I don't know what 15 is. But for 15, is that the worst special on the man? Yes, it is. However, technically, like, let's go to Gen 6. It also has the special of 80. Which, that would be the same special as, Butterfree. And, yeah, like, at least for, like, I'm pretty sure for, like, oh, no, I think it had to. For the replays, it played as if, like, Beedrill had 80 special defense. And honestly, at first I was thinking, would this thing be too overpowered if, like, it had 80 special? But then I'm like, nah. Like, you'll see later, like, what I'm talking about. But even with 80 special, I don't think it would be broken. Because, like, being a poison type and 65 HP still means that it's still frail either way. Like, just look at the defense. If you're getting hit with, like, a strong special move, you're not really gonna survive it. Especially with stab. But can it survive psychic moves? I'm sure most of you doubt it, but we'll find out later, shall we? Now, for being a bug type in Gen 1, it surprisingly has a very good move pool, as you can see here. It has pretty much everything you could ever want. Agility, Double Edge, a Hyper Beam, Mega Drain, Pin Missile, which you probably don't want to use over Twin Needle, but if you want to get greedy and potentially get more damage, you could. It has Reflect, in case you want to, like, have more longevity. Rest, if you want to have longevity, but you also want to lose. Substitute, which is, I guess it's sort of useful with how fast it is, but I just don't see anything really be done with it. Sword Stance, I think it's really good. Like, obviously, like, it crits a lot, but I still think it's worth it. Especially for, like, you want to use moves like, Twin Needle, instead of, like, having to, like, use, like, Hyper Beam and depend on a crit. But, yeah, it's up to you. Like, with other stuff, like, I honestly could very well see, like I said, I was using Sword Stance, use Agility, solely just to get rid of, like, the speed debuff on, Paralysis. And last but not least, the main move that we gotta be talking about is Twin Needle. Twin Needle, Twin Needle, Twin Needle. Technically, the best bug move in the game. It is only learned by Beedrill. It hits 2 times, has a 20% chance to poison on the last hit. And, this is a big deal. Because if Beedrill only had Pin Missile, being like 85 accuracy and having like only guaranteed to hit 2 times, which would mean that like a lot of times it's gonna have a base power of 28, only barely stronger than just a single Twin Needle, let alone 2. Yeah, having this as a more consistent, more powerful and reliable bug move is, yeah, it's pretty important. It could actually go a long way into actually making sure that, like, you know, Mega Beedrill can actually get some KOs. Also, just make it so where, especially with the crit chance, this thing can, like, actually, you know, like, do, like, semi-decent damage with moves that aren't Double Edge or Hyper Beam. And is that 20% chance to poison annoying? Yes, it is. For you. Because why would you want to poison it over paralyzing or putting something to sleep, etc.? Although I would say I don't think it's the worst on Twin Needle. Because even if you get like a crit, it's still like base 25. And then like, let's see, a crit, essentially make a crit, or, well, sorry. So with a regular Twin Needle, it would be like, it's essentially 50 base power, right? Like, I know Mega Drain is good-ish, or maybe just good in Gen 1, but that's mostly because you're using on, like, stuff like Rhydon, right? How much does, like, Mega Drain actually do to, like, let's say, Starmie? I'm assuming with, like, Executor does a decent chunk, but that's because it's Executor. So I guess, Mega Beedrill's attack stat is much higher than Executor Special, I'm assuming. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. Yeah, base 125, yeah, obviously, I don't know what I'm thinking there. So Twin Needle is like a stronger physical version of Mega Drain. Okay, so for Gen 1 standards, I genuinely couldn't tell you if that's good or bad, or decent. I'm assuming it's decent. But speaking of Mega Drain, you run it. Like, obviously with like a 15 special, it's like unbearably just terrible. Or like you probably don't even want to like, or I guess you would use it on Rhydon, but like, yeah, like it wouldn't do that much. And then like obviously with 80 special, it does significantly more damage. But even then, I don't think it's actually enough to like really threaten Rhydon. At least not a Rhydon at full HP. However, you know, it's good for like your Rhydons pretty well. Just a way to like quickly just kill it. And not to mention, like, if you don't run that, what else are you gonna run on it? Like, Pin Missile for being greedy, Double Edge. I guess you could do like a Agility, Sword Stance, Twin Needle Hyper Beam set. And obviously, yeah, you are obviously going to use Hyper Beam and Sword Stance. Because, like, this thing already has a sustained attack. Why not make it higher? And Hyper Beam is just the best move in the game. Or best like attacking move. And then, like, what really survives? Like a Mega Beedrill that has like a Sword Stance. And if you somehow manage to get 2 up, you just one-shot. I almost said one-shot. Oh my gosh. One-shot everything. I am sorry, y'all. It is like, well, it's only 7:40. It's not that early. I have no excuses. But yeah, this moveset, it's incredibly promising. And the other moves are, I don't think the other moves that has would make it better. But they're at least good enough to where you can try experimenting or using different sets. Or except for Agility. Agility could just be good enough just to use. If not for Paralysis, to help with other Beedrill mirrors, you know? But that's about it. Let's start getting into a lot of the replays. I can already tell this is going to be a long video. Starting with Tauros. You have Twin Needle, which, yeah, that isn't like the best thing in the world. But the fact that Body Slam isn't even like a 2-hit KO is, or it might be, but it's probably a damage range. But still, for like base 40 defense, that took it a lot better than I would have expected. And even though Twin Needle doesn't do like a lot, I'm pretty sure like a critical Hyper Beam on most things is like 80% damage. So Twin Needle actually does like, without a crit, just enough to where you probably can't finish it off with a Hyper Beam. And that's another reason why Poison could be a little bit useful. See, what I tell you? Okay, 12%, but same thing. And then, yeah, that also very shocked me. Being able to survive a freaking Tauros Hyper Beam without a crit. Like, you shouldn't rely on it, because crits are common in Gen 1. But, like, wow. If you have no other choice and you're backed into a corner, you very well might win the exchange, which I think would surprise most people. But, yeah, even with, like, Poison on a Twin Needle, it's sometimes it gives to be kind of nice just for, like, some extra chip damage. Just to, like, even if, like, you, like, don't kill it with Hyper Beam next turn, it can still, like, probably mean that you can either Revenge kill it next turn, or Poison itself just takes the Pokemon out. Although against Snorlax, it's physically tankier than, Tauros, especially with a large HP set. So Sword Stance and Hyper Beam just isn't enough to actually one-shot it. Which is unfortunate. So what about just attacking it twice? Is that enough? Because it seems to do pretty well with just Tauros. Well, even with a crit, not enough. You barely don't kill it. So Snorlax can be a bit of a problem because of that alone. Although, like, as to no one's surprise, Mega Beedrill is probably one of those Pokemon that you just use as like a revenge killer. You're not going to use it early game. So by the time you actually take out your Mega Beedrill, most stuff has probably been worn down anyways. Also, for the replays, I kept on forgetting that, like, boosting your stats and might get your paralysis or the speed drop. I keep forgetting that that only happens for, Agility exactly, not just any setup move. Also, yeah, with a Hyper Beam, like, obviously that kills. I don't think that surprises anyone. But is anyone else surprised that a single Twin Needle after Sword Stance is 30% damage? Like, I know Chansey only has, like, what is it, like, base 15 defense? Or no, it's base 5 defense, right? But either way, like, just, holy crap. Like, I still wouldn't expect you to do that much damage. So that was when I really started to realize that, like, there was some serious potential here. And yeah, even 150 base attack is not enough to one-shot Alakazam with a Bug Stab move. So that should just show you just how truly weak bug moves are. But also, don't want to get twisted, because yes, Beedrill was most of its health here, but one, it actually survived a Psychic, which that alone should probably shock a lot of people. And two, This was me after having to do, what was it? I think I had to do like 4 replays before this because the Beedrill kept killing the Alakazam, so I had to keep replaying it. So like, don't like get it twisted. Like, it might look like it was like a good matchup here. We can go either way. And obviously, Alakazam is capable of one-shotting the Beedrill, but you are not risking it because a critical Twin Needle can and will kill you. Which, like, I don't know anyone who would risk that unless they have to. So yeah, I might have needed to use a literal Mega Pokemon, but it appears that we finally found something that can, seriously threaten, like the Psychic types of bug moves. So that's pretty cool. And the Cloyster has a lot of defense. As you can imagine, that can make it pretty annoying. But this is one of the cases where, like, Twin Needle's poison actually can be a good thing. Because being able to chip down the Cloyster can, like, that could be the difference between Hyper Beam killing and not killing. And I'm imagining, like, after a Clamp, you only have one shot to kill it in the first place. And, like, you're not always gonna get, like, poison, unfortunately. Which sucks. So, I'm not sure if this is, like, a good or bad matchup. I'm leaning on this being a bad matchup for Beedrill, because I feel like a lot of things need to go right in order for you to actually kill it. And if that's the case, I just don't see it being worth it. Because you kind of need, like, Twin Needle the poison, so you get extra damage in. You obviously need Hyper Beam to not miss. And you also need to, like, I'm assuming you also need a crit as well. So, like, Cloyster just has way too much, like, going for it. It just needs to, like, get one Clamp off and probably one Blizzard. I'd be surprised if Mega Beedrill can survive a Clamp and a Blizzard. And then Eggy. This is the one you've all been waiting for. And yeah, even against Eggy, Twin Needle does not one-shot. But Psychic doesn't one-shot either without a crit. So, just like with Alakazam, it fears it. But, good god. Even a Mega Beedrill with Twin Needle can't one-shot an Executor that's 4 times weak. Or, funny enough, it did about exactly the same damage as did the Alakazam. Because, like, it's obviously a lot tankier than Alakazam. But, like, yeah, I guess this is to be expected, because I'm always saying this in my videos, it's Gen 1, everything's bulkier. But, yeah, I don't know if that's disappointing or not. I'm assuming for most people it's just kind of satisfying to see, like, just hitting Executor with any bug move. But hopefully, like, I'm just hoping and praying that, like, you don't use Mega Beedrill against Gengar for obvious reasons. You only have Twin Needle to hit it. And funny enough, oh, never mind. I was gonna say you can poison it because of, like, the way, like, Twin Needle worked. But no, that's with Steel types. I'm pretty sure in Gen 1, it's the same thing with, like, Body Slam for normal types and Ice Beam for Psychic types. You can't actually poison types, no matter what. But yeah, like, don't use Mega Beedrill against Gengar. And also, don't use Pin Missile on Jolteon anymore. Because if Mega Beedrill can't kill Executor with Twin Needle, what's your Jolteon gonna do? So, like, finally put an end to the stupid, like, Pin Missile on Jolteon. It's just not gonna work out for you. Speaking of Jolteon, Hyper Beam doesn't kill without a crit. They can slow you down. And then Thunderbolt does, like, a little bit less than half. But even though, like, Jolteon's slower, it's still a freaking Jolteon. It's gonna crit. And if it crits, you die. So, it could go either way. Because, obviously a critical Hyper Beam will kill Jolteon. But, yeah. That's what happens when the two, like, the speedsters, like, face each other. And then against Jinx. Jinx could risk putting it to sleep. And why would it do that? It can go for Psychic and might kill it with a crit. But if it doesn't, Jinx is just screwed. So that's most of the Psychic types. I think all we have to look for is Slowbro. And before, like, we get to it, I'm not sure this is a replay or not, but comment below if, like, you think Mega Beedrill can actually, like, kill Slowbro or not. Or if, like, you get the outcome before you comment, just comment who you thought was gonna win beforehand. But before we do that, let's look at Rhydon. And yeah, that was a critical Mega Drain, and it only did a third. Yep, Groundbag's right. This is sad. Like, holy crap. That is like a... Oof. And obviously, that was with 15 special. So I was really curious to see how much it would do with 80. So I tried looking to see what in Gen 1 had 80 special. And, funny enough, Butterfree. Which, I think we all agree is like the perfect one. Look for that. And as you can see, like Mega Drain, like it barely does in 2-shot. And without a crit, Mega Drain only does like a little over 20%, which is sad. But yeah, like now you could probably understand why I think like 80 special on Beedrill isn't like crazy. I think it's very reasonable. Because not only does it not even allow you to like kill Rhydon if you get a crit, but like as you saw there, like that 80 special is what keeping you from just completely dying to, you know, psychic types. And it's only barely surviving too, so a crit still kills you. So I would say a Mega Beedrill with base 80 special is completely reasonable and completely fair and balanced. Because it allows you to just, like, you know, kill stuff without having to worry about being deleted if your attack misses or doesn't, you know, crit. But it's also low enough to where, like, the Pokemon that you fear Mega Beedrill, the Psychic types, can still kill with the crit. Because you're in their fast Psychic types, it's very reasonable to kill them. But enough about that. Slowbro versus Beedrill. You better comment below beforehand who's gonna win. You got Amnesia. You have Sword Stance. And yeah, Mega Beedrill can kill Slowbro. Granted, with a Paralysis Lug, you just kind of die. Like if you have one turn where you don't do anything. But one Sword Stance is also enough to threaten and probably even kill Slowbro. So they only have time to really set up one Amnesia against you in the first place. Which, yeah, that's pretty risky. And granted it's Paralysis, but maybe I'm just like on a high right now. But I'm going to say it's more so in Beedrill's favor. Maybe even could still be considered a good matchup. And against Starmie, this right here is why, like, even though the replays show like Psychic types almost killing Beedrill, it's not a real accurate representation, because you don't want to risk it. Because that's what happens when Beedrill gets a crit. They just die. But, for those who are wondering how it would turn out, let's see here. Twin Needle does a good amount. I'd also imagine, even though, like, Paralysis is, like, really, really good using it against Starmie, I feel like Poison, like, at the very least, Poison makes it annoying for Recover spam, right? Or maybe that's me being terminally optimistic again. Because I tend to do that a lot. But, yeah. Also, I just misclicked the Sword Stance. I tried to go for Twin Needle. Obviously, that would have killed it. But, last but not least, we have Zapdos. I was gonna, like, see how much Thunderbolt did, but then looking to the Movepool, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, this thing gets Drill Peck. But Beedrill survives Drill Peck. And, yeah. That surprised me. It's still a pretty bad matchup. Like, I guess it typically isn't unwinnable, but I'm pretty sure with Mega Beedrill's high crit rate, everything isn't truly unwinnable. But it's like, I just don't think you want to risk it. But we'll put this in bad matchups just to be nice. And this, I think this should, yeah, I'll keep it in good. I'll keep it in good. But, yeah, here is the viability ranking. I still can't believe it took me a Mega, but, wait, first. I kinda had to. But, yeah, yeah, personally, I'm impressed, but also, like, disappointed at the same time. Like, Mega Beedrill, I actually do feel like exceeded my expectations. Because I was just expecting it to be a delete button on the Psychic types when they get a crit, maybe Chansey. I genuinely did not expect it to actually be able to survive hits from strong physical attacks or from you know, like stab psychics that truly caught me off guard, but it convinced me that Mega Beedrill would be more than just a gimmick. It wouldn't just be something you use on the ladder to jump scare somebody, and then like make that like a YouTube thumbnail and just get like free views. It would be like an actual like OU contender that you have to take account for. And I don't even think it'd be that overpowered. Like, yeah, against the psychic types, it really does, it really is a huge threat to them. But also, like, Cloyster, Gengar, and especially Rhydon are just really good checks. Like, Cloyster probably doesn't want to go into it without having full HP. But Gengar probably could. Like, I know, like, if it's chipped, it doesn't want to take a lot of Twin Needles. But, like, it can take a decent amount. And then Rhydon, just like Zapdos, is hard counters Mega Beedrill. And as you saw there, even with the tech of Mega Drain, it doesn't really do anything without a crit. And even then, if you need a crit 4 times super effective move to 3-shot a Rhydon, yeah, you're not overpowered. You are not overpowered at all. So, would Mega Beedrill be good in Gen 1 OU? Absolutely. It would be a serious mega contender. Yeah. I just really want to see like a good bug type, and we finally got one. Although, some of you might argue that it being a mega might be kind of cheating. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Let's just say that in this timeline, like, Caterpie's in the beginning route, but you don't get, like, Beedrill until, like, Victory Road. You just random, like, Weedles and Kudos in Victory Road. And this is the payoff. That is not very, it's, like, dumb, but I don't know. We're just doing this for fun. And we're also doing this because I think everyone in the Gen 1 community really just likes seeing bug type moves being used as psychic types. I think it's, like, free, like, dopamine for us. So, I don't know. If you have any other bug types, that, you want to suggest, let me know. Because we will find bug types that can break Gen 1. Like, Beedrill is not the only one, I don't think. Granted, it might be the only one that can actually, like, be a good offensive bug type using bug type moves. But there's gotta be others. But I still think later this week I'm probably going to make a pincer, as well as, like, your guys' suggestions. Speaking of which, don't be afraid to give me some suggestions. Maybe you guys have been some really good ones that I've been really excited to, work on. And, like, who knows? Like, I won't do it every day, but I think for a lot of days I will have enough time where I can upload twice, which is pretty nice. And don't worry, guys, I promise I'm not going to do burnout. And I'm pretty sure this is probably a long video already, so I should probably just wrap it up now. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.